So who could be next to commit to the University of Georgia? Well, there's a few targets out there that Georgia wants badly, and about 6 of them are going to be making their decision by the end of the month. So of course, that's what this video is all about, and be breaking down who could join the Bulldog commit list by the end of the month and who might be leaning elsewhere. So let's jump right into it. I want to start off by talking about a couple guys who I do think the Bulldogs lead for. One of them, one of their biggest targets still on their board right now, that is Branson Robinson, 4-star running back from Mississippi, arguably the best running back prospect in the entire country. He's an absolute bruiser. He is a workhorse in the weight room. Dude is chiseled, can break tackles with his arms, his legs. He's got plenty of speed. Easily one of the best backs in the country. He's making his decision on July 22nd, so we've got about I guess a week and a day. So that is coming up, and I think Georgia is still the team to beat for him right now. He took his official visit to Georgia that first weekend of June with guys like Gunnar Stockton, Denylon Morstead, Oscar Delp, and a bunch others. And another guy who I'm going to talk about in just a minute. And I do think Georgia continues to lead here. I've said this for weeks. I've said it for months. I've said it for a while that I think Georgia is the team to beat for Branson Robinson. I think Tennessee and Alabama are the other two that he's still considering. I don't think he's going to commit to Tennessee. I think Alabama may have given him something to think about, but at the end of the day, I think this kid is going to be a Bulldog and make it public on July 22nd. So definitely make sure to check that out. Dog Post is going to have all the scoop for that. We're going to keep you plugged in on where he might be leaning in the days prior, but a little over a week away, and I do think Georgia's in the best spot to land him. So it very well could be Branson Robinson who is next to jump on the commit list. Another guy who I think the Bulldogs are trending for is Dalton Madden Jr. He's a guy who really just bursted onto the scene about 5-6 weeks ago. Big-time linebacker, edge defender from Cedar Grove High School in the Atlanta area, a program that just pumps out talent left and right. I think he's going to be an absolute stud for them this upcoming year. Didn't play much really at all last year, but he is a guy that the coaches love him. They rave about him and his size, his athletic ability, and really his potential. But over the past few weeks, he's picked up offers from Georgia, Georgia Tech, Ole Miss, and a few others. But he's definitely a guy to know, and I think that the staff would love to add him on board right now. Again, not a lot to really go on from him because he does have limited film out there, but he's a guy that the staff likes, and he plans to make a decision by the end of the month. There's no set date that I know of, but he tweeted out recently that he's pretty much got his mind made up, and he will reveal that decision by the end of the month. And if that's the case, I think Georgia is definitely the team to beat right there. Denzel Sutton, one of the best defensive ends in the country. I believe he plays up in Maryland. I think that's down to Georgia and Penn State. I think he's a top 60 player in the country. He took his official visit to Georgia last month as well. It was one of his first official visits. And I think, from everything I've heard and from what I've gathered, he really likes Georgia. And I think Penn State's probably the team that most teams, I guess, were behind in the spring. But once he took these visits last month, I do think that the Bulldogs knocked it out of the park when he was on campus. And I think they are very much in this. It wouldn't surprise me at all to see him pick Georgia on July 22nd, same day as Branson Robinson. So Georgia could absolutely pick up 2 commitments on that day for sure. He is definitely a guy to know about, and there's stories about him and him talking to us about his visit at Georgia over on Dog Post, so make sure you go check that out. So those are 3 guys I think Georgia's in a really good position for right now. There's 3 other guys who are making their decisions soon, and I don't think they are going to be heading to Georgia. The first one, Dalton Everett, one of the top cornerback prospects in the country. This would be a big get for Georgia, who needs cornerbacks in a big way. They only have one on board right now, Marquise Groves Killebrew, 4-star from North Cobb. They, of course, lost a commitment from 5-star defensive back Dion Bowie. And this kid is one of the best in the country out of IMG Academy. 6'2", he's got some length, he's got some quickness, he knows how to cover. There's a reason he's one of the best in the country. I think North Carolina is the team that I'm hearing the most about right now. I think his mom really likes the Tar Heels. He's originally from up there, I believe. He's from Virginia originally before coming down to play at IMG. So North Carolina, it's kind of a quick drive away from where he grew up. And I think Clemson is the other team involved. I think it's down to Georgia, Clemson, UNC. And right now, I'm hearing the most about the North Carolina Tar Heels. They're doing a great job of recruiting and trying to build that program, and bringing in a guy like him would be a big deal. They landed Tony Grimes in the last class, a 5-star. He played a good bit as a freshman last year, I believe. And of course, this kid won't be playing on the team till 22, but they are recruiting very well, and that would be a monster pickup for the Tar Heels. Keon Sabbah, another safety from IMG, he's committing July 17th as well. So in about 4 days here, I think he's probably heading to Clemson. If I had to make a guess right now, he took an official visit to Georgia later in the month of June, but I think the Clemson Tigers have put themselves in the best position to land his commitment in the coming days. He's another guy who I think looked at Georgia long and hard, and still could be, or probably is top towards the top of his list, but I think the Clemson Tigers are the team to beat for him. Tyler Booker, one of Georgia's top offensive line prospects, or targets, excuse me. I think he's leaning towards Alabama. I'm getting a lot of questions about him over on Dog Post. Got to know him quite a bit over the last few months. And great kid. There's a big-time interview with him that I got over on Dog Post. Make sure you check that out. I do think it's down to Georgia, Alabama, Florida. Major Florida target. That'd be a big loss for him if he were to leave the state and play for Alabama. But that's kind of what I'm hearing right now. So definitely a guy to keep an eye on. He doesn't have a date set either that I'm aware of, but I do think by the end of the month he'll have his decision. Kamari Wilson is another guy who might pull the trigger in July. I think so. He'll be number 7 guy I talk about on this list. Didn't have him on there originally because I don't know when he's actually committing, but I do think that there's a chance. Some people tell me that he could make a decision sooner rather than later, which I don't believe was his original plan. If that's the case, I definitely think he could be on Georgia's commit list. He's a 5-star safety they would love to add with Malachi Starks, the guy already on board. He's a big deal. He's a 5-star kid, ranked the number 1 safety in the country, and I think Georgia had a lot of momentum and were the team to beat in his recruitment not too long ago. He's taken a bunch of visits last month, so he got to check out a lot of programs. I still think Georgia's towards the top of his list. I don't know if they're the outright leader behind the scenes as I thought they were a few weeks ago, but if he is ready to make a decision, I definitely think Georgia has a really good shot of landing him. So those are about 7 guys that you need to know about for the rest of the month of these next 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. And I definitely think that Georgia will add to their commit list either 2 or 3 guys over the next couple weeks. So make sure you are on Dog Post to read the latest. And, I always appreciate you all watching these videos. Stay tuned to the next one coming up right now, and I'll see you over on the website.